you need to never become so important to talk to customers, right? We just talked about it. We get up to be a manager and to a director and to a VP, right? And then most of our effort is now spent in executive meetings and planning meetings, right? Talking about building the company, which is all important stuff, but it's very easy to lose touch and to forget that maybe I should talk to customers maybe every single day.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of EngatiCX. I'm your host, Jeremy D'Souza, and we're really thrilled to have all of you join us today on the show. On this show, we talk to CX and tech experts from around the world. We explore, uncover, and share fresh insights on creating experiences that your customers will love, will remember, and will look forward to. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code digital CX platform, available across 14 channels, with upwards of 45,000 solutions created and deployed across 186 countries in literally every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc. magazine, Tech World, CIO magazine, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our amazing guest. Bill Cushard is the director of ServiceRocket. He's an author, blogger, and learning experience designer with extensive experience in building learning organizations in startups and hypergrowth organizations. He is the co-author of the book Critical Skills All Learning Professionals Can Put to Use Today. Bill has in-the-trenches experience building learning functions in hypergrowth organizations. But before we get into this interview, don't forget to subscribe to Engati and tap the bell icon to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders around the globe. Bill, we are really thrilled to have you today on the show.
Jeremy, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Likewise. So, let's dive in. Bill, my first question to you is, what are the biggest challenges to customer satisfaction faced by customer success managers? What were they in 2020 and how are they shaping 21?
I think there are two major or global challenges. One is the challenge of really understanding our customers' business and the industry. That's one. And then the second one I think is, and I'll cover each one in my opinion. The second one I think is, I fear we're becoming too low touch with our customers, and that is becoming a pet peeve of mine. But the first challenge is understanding our customers' business, right? I think customer success managers easily take to helping customers with the product that they bought, because that's the immediacy of the need. We bought a product, help us use it. But beyond that, if we don't really understand what our customers are trying to accomplish, what their business goals are, and even what the industry they're in, it's hard to help them beyond the functionality of the product. And 2020 has been a year where this has really become important, because if you think about understanding our customers' industries, some industries thrived during COVID and some industries didn't do so well. And if we weren't looking at those industries like that and sort of tapping into our customers to say who's doing well and who is doing not, it's hard to help these customers take the next steps, whether it's expanding quickly because of the business they're in that's thriving in this new world, or whether it's contracting and trying to preserve and save money and servicing them in that way. And if the service we provide as CSMs is a mismatch with one of those two things, we're not helping. That's a major challenge. So going into the future, it's like, okay, how can we understand industries as they relate to our customers' business, and then why did they buy our product, so that we can sort of segment and tailor our service better for our customers. So that's the first challenge that I think we have to deal with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because unless you really understand their business, their industry, you won't be able to help them succeed. You might be able to help them use your product, but
Yeah.
you'll not be able to help them succeed as a business. You'll not be able to help them achieve their goals. Right, Bill?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's so right. And Part of how I learned to think about this is, Rohit Bhargava. He wrote a book called The Non-Obvious Report. This book is a series of books about trend curation and understanding trends going on. I think we could use this philosophy as CSMs to understand trends in our customers' industries, right? And if that's I don't know, I think that's a sort of an unkept secret in customer success where we can help customers sort of beyond the product, even beyond their business, and into help them navigate their industries in the trends that we see, right? I mean, that takes a lot of work to do that, but gosh, if we can curate and be aware of trends in our customers' industry, gosh, how that would help us,
Certainly, you
help
would go
them.
from being just a vendor to being more of
Oh,
like a trusted partner of sorts.
totally. Totally. Yes, you said it perfectly. Go way beyond being the vendor. Otherwise, we're just a vendor on the list. Which vendor should we cut this year? Which vendor should we keep this year? You do that exercise every year. We don't want to be on that list, right?
Absolutely, that's like a perfect way to stay off the blacklist.
Yes, correct. We want to be above that line, right? Where the CFO wants to cut software. And that's also related to my second challenge, right? Which is like we're becoming too low touch. Every time I turn on the internet on my computer, customer success people are talking about low touch and tech touch and automation and pop-up windows and help files. And I think we're sort of losing touch with the fact that, there's a person that has a job to do, and they have people to impress in their companies, and they stuck their neck out to buy our software, and they want their function to do well. And enough with the pop-ups, enough with the not that those aren't important, they very much are. I totally think they are. Live chat and things like that, it's very important, but I think we're going too far.
Absolutely, I think you should use automation only for maybe the repetitive ones, the monotonous queries. Send the complex ones over to a live agent. Let them deal with it. They'll be able to really help the customer with
Hmm.
empathy rather than just a robotic script. So yeah,
Yep.
it's supposed to be a blend of automation, live chat,
Yes.
everything.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Yes.
Bill, are there any interactive resources that actually help the performance of clients in terms of establishing client relationships? We just spoke about chatbots and live chat. How powerful do you think they are?
I look at this question in two ways. One is, yeah, look, chat bots and live chat. I think the magic of these is not so much the automation and the scale, but it's responding to the customer in the moment, right? There's a there's a sense of immediacy and urgency that sometimes our customers need. Like, I need an answer now, or I need someone to direct me to the right answer now because I'm stuck. I'm in the moment. I'm using software. I don't know what to do next. And so
Absolutely.
for a chatbot to respond urgently and to help me down some funnel of getting me to the right place, whether it's to a person or to a resource of some kind, I think that's magic, right? Um, but there's another part of this that how I look at it, I go back to what the customer is after. The customer is trying to progress in some way, right? They bought our software to do
Yes.
something. And so I think the best interactive thing we can do is to help them better than we do with the data that they can use to get to that goal they're after, make progress on that. I think we could do a much better job, most of us, in designing our dashboards to show the numbers of the specific things our customers are really trying to improve, so they get one
Absolutely.
more person to sign in tomorrow, or 6 more projects created, or watching the comments, or watching the engagement in the product, or whatever that is. I think we just put up our dashboards and our reporting tool and say, okay, customer, you can run reports now. When I think what we should do is like call them up and say, okay, what do you really need to track, and help them build those
Yeah,
dashboards. Because
personalized dashboards sound amazing.
I mean, right? If
Yeah.
a customer is trying to, if we know what their goals are, we should create these dashboards to help monitor the progress towards those goals. So they could just log in every day, see the dashboard and say, ooh, we're up 3 points today, or we're down 3 points. Uh-oh, we should go do something to make it go up 3 again. for example, right?
Absolutely. Most important metrics right in front of you. You don't have to
Yeah.
scroll through a dozen dashboards to get them.
Yes. Yes, exactly. No, that's not like giving them another tool like a chat bot or a live chat would be maybe, but kind of it is, right? It's sort of reimagining how we provide data to our customers
Absolutely.
in, yep.
In my opinion, you could probably even get like, even to include a bot, you could probably have the bot set up to send that information as
Oh,
soon as they log in.
oh,
Just the information that they need.
that's really good. And frankly, if we could get the chat bot to respond to the natural question of, how did I do today? What
Absolutely.
happened today? How many people did we get today? How many of my team signed in, or how many email notifications went out today? How many customers did we get to convert on our Facebook ad today? And that response comes up. That's
Yeah, the
that's
context.
even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate so much to what you just said about immediacy. In the morning, my brother was waiting to get on a live chat with the bank, and they had some sort of pop-up which said it actually had a timer saying you have to wait 5 minutes and was counting down.
Uh,
And even though I was not waiting for that, I was losing my mind. I was just
yeah.
exercising, but looking at that, I was just like, this is too long.
See, this is when you work in a call center, you really understand this. Like once you put up a live chat or a phone number or whatever the live is, now you have to have this exercise of how do you staff for that. I
Yeah,
mean, that bank could have had twice as many employees waiting and have a 1 second response, right? And then that
absolutely.
costs a lot of money. Is that worth it? Maybe it's not. So if you're going to do the live chat, you have to have a staffing strategy in place, right? I think chat bots kind of alleviate that because there's some automation in the responses if as to do that. So live chat and chat bots together, it can be done really well.
Yeah, you probably need to fix your staffing or your routing, but it can be done really well.
Yep, sure can.
So, Bill, what about this one, right? How would you go about developing a program to update the skills of your customer success managers?
I spent about 10 years of my career running learning and development departments, training employees on their jobs. So I have a pretty strong opinion about this. And the first thing I would say is, and this seems silly, but the first thing is get the job description right. Right? Define what it is you want
So
people
true.
to do in the first place. I think we're lazy with our job descriptions. We say we need some years of experience, you have some responsibilities to do, and you better have some good communication skills, right? And we sort of add these
Just
vague,
stolen off the internet.
yes, we just we just clone them, other people's job descriptions, and we don't really lay out, let's say, the four things or whatever it is that someone should do, and then the outcomes of that job, right? Like, for
Absolutely.
example, one one responsibility of a customer success manager might be onboarding new customers and what that means. Now, the outcome of that should be described in the job description. It should say to reduce time to value or to reduce onboarding time to go live, or however you define it. There needs to be some metric to say, to explain to the person doing the job, oh, this is my responsibility. And my goal is to get the customer to achieve that first value in a certain amount of time or something. So now, once we know that and the other two or three things, now we can devise ways to help people learn the skill to do that. But frankly, this learning the skill part, it becomes easy when the job description is defined, discreetly like that. So that's the first thing I would do. Like go back to job descriptions. And then once you write them, sit down with the team and just like educate people on the job description and reset everybody and, change our mindset about what a job description is supposed to help us do in our jobs. So that's one thing. That's the first thing I would do.
Totally. And I suppose it gives them a little bit of clarity, so they would probably have um, an idea of what they should educate themselves about too, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's a good point. And even before that, you said clarity. Yes, I think it's more important to be clear than it is to be certain, right? So maybe maybe you don't know for sure if the job if onboarding is a primary job of your customers, and maybe you don't know if this particular goal of reducing time to first value is the goal, but you start with that and you make it as clear as possible. So then, like you said, people know, oh, I know what to do, and I know what I could maybe self-educate on so I can do that thing well because it's clear to me. So that's really good that you said that. It's really smart.
And you were going to take us through a few more of your steps.
Yes. Uh, the skill of understanding business models. And if you haven't, you should look up the book Business Model Generation. This is a tool, business model canvas, started by Alex Osterwalder and the Strategizer Group. And what I mean by this is, as a CSM, we're helping customers do something, right? And sometimes that means helping them buy more stuff from us. So on the one hand, the better we understand our own business model, what value we deliver to customers and the revenue streams that come from that value we delivered. If we understand those two things, we know how to help customers achieve the value in a way that leads them to want to buy more stuff from us without having to sell. Well, we do have to sell, but I mean, not really having to be a salesperson with a quota, because those two things are kind of linked. And the way to understand that well is to go through this business model design process and really understand our own. Now, the flip side of that is understanding our customers' business model, because if we know what our customers are trying to achieve, what their key activities are, what the value propositions they deliver to their customers, and how they have what their cost structure is and what their revenue streams are, we can help them achieve that in the context of what our software is designed to do, right? That skill of business model design, no one talks about that in customer success. Almost no one. Kristen Hayer does. She talks about this a lot. But knowing our customer's business model is something we should add to our tool chest of skills. And there's lots of free resources on the internet to learn how to do that. Get the book, get your team in the free videos, right? It's like, let's get everyone to, let's hire the Strategizer Group, to whatever it is. And because that's really important, I think.
Absolutely. As you said, unless you know them, unless you know their businesses, their business models, you won't be able to help them succeed, really. So Bill, why are VOC practices necessary, and how easy or difficult is it to implement in an organization that is actually really, really focused on customer success, and also the new ones, the new organizations too?
Voice of the customer is so important because of what I would like to call inertia. Because what happens over time is, like, the more we start working and doing our jobs, we tend to regress internally and do our internal things and stay inside our company and just do our job. We make assumptions that we know. So we've heard from 5 customers what the problems are. And so we say, oh, we know what our customers' problems are. I'm guilty of this too. And then you just sort of work for a while internally, and we stop seeking customer input. We stop asking customers. And Steve Blank, he wrote the 4 epiphanies, 4 stages of the epiphany. I forget the name of the book, but Steve Blank has this statement that there are no facts inside the building. So get out there and talk to customers. And so if we're not constantly seeking that input from customers, then we start to regress and we start to lose touch with our customers. It's almost like you exercise a lot and then you stop exercising. You lose your fitness quickly, right? And then you start eating badly and then you gain 5 pounds. It's very easy to lose that. It's very difficult to get the momentum back. And so that's why I think, yeah.
That is really, really true, because half the time you're probably just mistaking laziness for efficiency, just assuming that you know everything about your customers, and you really don't.
Yeah. And I think that especially in bigger companies, the bigger a company gets, like as part of your question, right? The bigger the company gets, it's easier to stay inside your company and to attend your meetings and to present reports and to do strategy exercises and do your diagrams and say, we're headed in this direction. And then you realize, has anyone talked to a customer today? And it's easy to do. Now it's easier in a smaller company that's just starting customer success, because maybe you're starting it up and you don't know anything yet. And so you're eager and you do start calling customers and you don't have all this technology and scale and automation in place, right? You're starting off small. And that's part of the other advice. It's like, you got to start small. You got to do what Steve Blank says, like get out of the building and like, call a customer and just every day have several meetings. Even if you're a VP of customer success, so the higher up you get, the less you talk to customers. And that's a problem over time if you let that happen.
Yeah, it's actually really sorted out for a smaller company, because at that point you probably have the CEO himself or herself,
Yeah, true.
speaking to the customers, understanding their goals, helping them succeed.
Yes.
Much better off for them. So, Bill, is there any other advice, any other golden wisdom nuggets that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Look, there's a statement I like that you need to, and this, I'm talking to myself when I say this, you need to never become so important to talk to customers, right? We just talked about it. We get up to be a manager and to a director and to a VP, right? And then most of our effort is now spent in executive meetings and planning meetings, right? Talking about building the company, which is all important stuff, but it's very easy to lose touch and to forget that maybe I should talk to customers maybe every single day. So you can't get too important that you don't want to talk to customers anymore, because the moment you stop talking to customers is sort of the moment it starts to kind of go downhill, right? You start to lose touch. Like in exercise, you start to lose the fitness, right?
That makes so much sense. I mean, even Zappos does that all the time, right? Everyone is supposed to talk to a customer. You need to get on the front lines. You need to
Yes.
speak to your customers. You need to know
Yes.
what they want.
Yes. So that's the advice I would give to like I don't know, the manager of the function or the VP of the function, right? The advice I would give a CSM is to ask themselves, what is the maximum contribution they can make to the company every day, right? Because, and I'll give an example. Most customer success teams don't have a specific responsibility to get renewals and to do expansion selling and to sell the customer. So our job is just to make the customer happy, right?
Mhm.
But if you want to maximize your contribution to the company, you have to help grow customers and get them to use the product more. So look, even if you don't have a responsibility or job description for expansions and renewals and selling and things like that, you need to act like you do and to help a customer use the product more, use more of the product, buy more modules. And the way to do that is to help them achieve the value proposition. I go back to the business model canvas. Like if you help customers achieve the value propositions that you promise in your product, those will naturally link to things a customer has to buy. And you say to your customer, oh, you want to accomplish that? We have an add-on for that. I'll help you, let's help you buy that so you can start doing it. I'll help you. So the CSM needs to ask themselves every day, it's like, what is the maximum contribution I can make to the company today? And really act like they're growing the company and adding value to the company, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what CSMs have to do more of.
Yeah, the job essentially, it should have, like, as you mentioned, a clarifying statement. You need to increase the customer lifetime value.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry to interrupt, but that's so smart, right? It's like, it's not just, can I sell a customer on a renewal today? It's more like, how can I grow the lifetime value of this customer, which might mean renew at the same rate. It might be, you might say, oh, in a year from now, they're going to need to do this extra thing because last week in our QBR, they said to me that they have a goal to do this big thing. So they don't need it now, but gosh, in a year from now, so I need to write that down on my account plan or whatever it is. And keep the customer talking to them about when they're going to need that next thing. And yes, it's going to cost money, but you're preparing them for it because you're trying to look ahead to do that. Because your mindset, you said it perfectly, is to increase lifetime value. That's a different mindset than I have to sell a customer on something today.
That is so true, Bill.
I do have another thing I could say about advice too, but if you
Sure,
want to
add
go
on. Yeah, we can definitely add it.
Okay, so then a third piece of advice I would give is that we CSMs who are ambitious tend to want to like take this advice and like go call customers and talk customers. And sometimes the bigger the company is, the more you have this feeling that you need to ask permission, that you need to get approval to like, let's say, bring customers into the office, if it was before COVID, like in those days.
Yeah.
But um, I think that that's legitimate in some organizations, but really you still have to sort of like go beyond thinking about, do I have to ask my VP's permission before I can create a virtual user group, let's say, right? Once a month, invite if I'm a CSM, like, can I get my own customers all together, do a virtual user group, and once a month, get them together and just start facilitating how they help them learn from each other and things. Like you could just do that. You probably don't work at a very good company if they don't let you do that. These are your customers. How could any company not want you to have more interaction with customers? So my previous question to ask yourself, how can I maximize my contribution to the company? This is the same thing. It's like the question, how can I get my customers together so I can learn from them and they can learn from each other and we can help them advance in their pursuit of whatever they're doing? So you just can't ask for permission to do all these things. I don't want you to all go be pirates and break the rules in your companies. But on the other hand, if you wait around for permission and asking for things, of course your VP is going to say no to your virtual customer user group with just your accounts, because we need to make it into a big company-wide program. We can't just do one. We have to do it all. Now it's a 9-month project and it never gets done. So, sometimes I think you just have to, organize yourself, take some initiative, be a leader, own your customers, lead your customers, and maybe sometimes not ask for permission.
Absolutely. And maybe customers could take a little bit of inspiration from Netflix's philosophy, right? If it's going to work, if it's going to help the company, do it, right? You don't need to ask for permission over there.
Yes, that's really good advice.
Hey, Bill, this has been amazing. Your insights have been fantastic. And I am sure that there are going to be a lot of CSMs all over the world running to understand their customers, to understand their businesses, and figure out ways to help them succeed. So thank you so much for that, Bill. Folks, for all of you watching, we will be back really soon with a new episode and a new expert. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. We'll see you around next time.